Well, I could kind of say the gas is running out of the tank, but it's still kind of fun. F9, the Fast Saga, which I pretty much don't get why they just want to call it Fast Furious 9 instead of F9. Really? What's the next one going to be called? Fast 10 with the number 10 and Fast 11 forever? I don't know. Universal and their title choices. Anyways, this sees the return of Justin Lin, who directed films 3 through 6, and this once again stars the same exact cast of the other movies, but newcomers such as Michael Rooker and John Cena. Don Toretto is living the quiet life off the grid with Letty and his son Brian, but they know that danger always lurks just over the peaceful horizon. This time, that threat forces Dom to confront the past and the sins of his past to save those he loves the most. His crew soon comes together to stop a world-shattering plot by the most skilled assassin and the high-performance driver that they've ever encountered, Dom's own forsaken brother, Jacob. When it comes to the Fast and the Furious franchise, I will admit, I've been a fan of this franchise mostly. At first, I was not a big fan. I didn't get into the Fast and Furious franchise until the Fast 5, which that was my first Fast and Furious movie. And from there, I wanted to go on. And I pretty much enjoyed all the Fast and Furious movies, almost. My favorite one is Furious 7, which even though I still think they should have ended it there, Fast 8 was still good. The worst one for me is the 4th movie. That one is the most boring of the Fast and Furious series. And the last one that recently came out was 2019, which was Hobbs & Shaw, which was a spin-off, which it got crazy at times, but I enjoyed that one because it still had a sense of realm possibility and a sense of reality without going overly too far. So when this was coming out, and when trailers were starting to come out for this, I wasn't so sure how to feel about this one. I saw the trailers, of course I was excited, but after Furious 7, and since the passing of Paul Walker, it's like the series it's still the same, but it's not the same without Brian O'Connor. It's like being a part of Justice League, where you can't have the whole Justice League without your Batman. And that's how I feel with Dom and Brian. But I still went into this movie open-minded. And from the trailers, it looked like it looked ridiculous fun as the other movies, but I could easily tell that something wasn't right. Because this time we do have a change in writers. Unfortunately, it's not the franchise writer who's been writing the rest of these movies, Chris Morgan. And with that being said, me personally with Fast 9, this is the point where I have to go in this franchise to say they're starting to run out of gas, but I'm not going to say this is a bad movie. I'm not going to say this is a terrible movie. But I will say while this is the most entertaining one, another entertaining entry in the series, this is also one of the most frustrating films in the series. Now, I know what y'all about to say. Josh, you're just saying that because you didn't love it. You're this, you're that. No. This is my opinion. And if you can't really respect an opinion, that's completely fine. Don't just be a freaking asshole about the shit, okay? With that being said, I'm gonna go into why I feel the way I feel, okay? And truly be honest with myself here about this. This is 100% my opinion. You don't have to agree, because I know there's plenty of Fast and Furious fans who like this, and a lot of Fast and Furious fans who are getting sick of this. So, first off, let me just easily say, of course, you do get the cast here. The cast here, they still have fun chemistry with each other. They still do as good as they can with the script that is provided them. Vin Diesel is going around giving his usual speeches about family, which Vin Diesel, he's a charismatic actor, and he still has something to him as Dom Toretto. He doesn't feel like he's sleepwalking through the movie. It does feel like he is a little lost a little bit without the Brian O'Connor character, but he's doing the best that he can in this role still. And to that, I still have to give credit to Vin Diesel. He's not an amazing actor, but he is a very charismatic actor for the most part, and he does a good job in the movie as well. For his performance. Also, I will say the rest of his team I did enjoy. I did enjoy the rest of his team as well. Of course, you have Jordana Brewster back as Mia Toretto, which they finally they give us something to do here. It's about time. We are 9 or 10 movies into this franchise if you choose to count Hobbs Shaw, and this character has been very sidelined. So finally, they decided to give us something to do here. Also, Tyrese and Ludacris and Natalie Emmanuel as Roman, Tej, and Ramsey. I thought their chemistry is still very fun to watch. Tyrese is doing his usual screaming and his usual banter back and forth with Ludacris and Natalie Emmanuel, and I like their performances. There. Not to mention Michelle Rodriguez as Letty, still awesome in her role as Letty. She's much more different this time around than she is to the other movies, so it's good to see her there, see her get a lot more in the spotlight. And of course, before I forget, Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster, they still got it. So you know what this means. Rest of the cast, we have a certain character who is back once again. Of course, as you've seen the trailer, you know it's Han. We'll get into that a little later. Kurt Russell is back. Helen Mirren is back as the mother of Owen Deckard and Hattie, and also Charlize Theron is back here, which I'll get into in my negatives. But the acting is nothing Oscar worthy, but I do think the cast still do a good enough job in the roles. Dustin Lin's direction here is still very good. His action, it feels like he's never left. And the action scenes in this movie, while they can be ridiculous and way too overly absurd for its own good, which we'll get to in my negatives, I will say that the action here for the most part is still fun and pretty awesome. I will say the action is fun until it gets to a certain point where it's not fun at times in this movie. Also, cinematography wise and editing wise, I will say cinematography and editing is very well done in here. And I will also say that the music by Brian Tyler and the soundtrack is always fun to listen to. It's Fast and Furious, so you can never hate one of these movie soundtracks. And also, while we're touching on it, John Cena is Jacob Toretto. Now, John Cena, I know some people don't like as a wrestler or actor, but I think he's a very charismatic actor, and I don't think he's actually a bad wrestler. He was one of the reasons why I wanted to see this movie. And while he doesn't come in until very later on into the movie, because there's also another villain he's working for, I will say John Cena, he does a good job in the role. He and Vin Diesel as brothers, they don't look very much alike, But I feel like their whole camaraderie, I was enjoying it. I just wish John Cena he was in this movie a little bit more. Now this is where I get into my mixed aspects when it comes to the action in this movie. Now, even though I do like the action in this movie, I will say that there does come a point as you're watching the movie where I feel like the action goes a bit too much, a bit too out of crazy factor. Now I know that's what the series has been going on for, because we've went from the street racing side to the heist side to just being a mega big blockbuster franchise that it is. And I will say the action at times does get fun, and the whole thing as a family is still very much there. But my problem with most of the action when it comes to the mixed side things is that I feel like that there's not really a moment where the characters here, they do feel a sense of vulnerability, or they don't feel a sense of danger. I feel like the tension is kind of completely gone there. And another thing that I'm very mixed on is how they decide to bring back Han. Now, I do like seeing the other cast members from Tokyo Drift come back, but the way they choose to explain Han's resurrection is pretty much an inconvenience. It's like, I understand why you chose to bring him back, because people want justice for Han and stuff, so I do hope they get happy what they want, but for me, I was expecting a much better explanation. I'm sorry. When you are in the 9th movie in a big franchise, or any big franchise to this is what I do have to take notes from the real Mr. Robinson in his review of Fast 9. And he said it best, and I'm going to quote a little bit here. You don't have to always cater to the fans and to what they want to see on the internet and social media. And I kind of feel like that's what they did here. This is about to lead me into my negatives with Fast 9. 1. Now, even though I just gave the action credit, there is moments in Fast 9 where there is moments in the action where I feel like this action just goes way too far. I know this is a big franchise, I know this is an action movie, I know that. But this action just gets insanely ridiculous at times, to the point where it literally just becomes a cartoon at this point. It becomes a cartoon, it becomes overly ridiculous here. I don't have a problem with action scenes getting ridiculous here, but it just gets way too far. It gets way too far in areas. And it gets to a point where it's like, you gotta at least make some sense out of this action. It just feels like with the action, like if you're gonna have these characters do all this crazy over the top stuff in this action scenes, you gotta at least have these characters have a sense of vulnerability to it. But no, Dom and his crew, they come out completely without scratch. He and John Cena, their fights, which I'm gonna say right now, that fight, it's cool seeing Vin Diesel and John Cena fight. Two big mega actors fighting each other. And it is one of my favorite action scenes here, but the result of it is in the fight between them doesn't really last long. It's just the fight between Dom and his Forsaken brother is only a minute, it's quick, it feels done and over with, it feels like that scene got a little cut out before the fight even reaches climax, and it kind of feels a little incomplete. This movie did not need to be 2.5 hours long. I'm sorry, this movie did not need to be 2 hours and 25 minutes. I'm sorry, there's about an easy a bunch of scenes you could cut out. I do respect the fact that we get to know more about Dom and his past and some real cool Easter eggs from other movies in this franchise. I don't mind some of the flashbacks that we get from Dom when he and Jacob when they were younger and about their father. That opening did have me, and there was another flashback that did have me. But I feel like there are some other flashbacks that just did not need to be in here. You could easily remove those flashbacks and you would at least have at least 10 to 5 minutes. Also, trim out some of the draggy parts in after the first action scene, because the film, it does drag a little bit. And also, speaking of it right now, Cypher, Charlize Theron is completely wasted here. She is a great actress. She is one of the most highest paid stars in Hollywood. She's a freaking Oscar winner, for God's sakes. Atomic Blonde, Monster, The Old Guard, Aeon Flux, you name it. She is a great actress. But I feel like they only just put her in this movie to set her up for the last two movies. And that's another problem. This feels more like a setup movie than a Fast and Furious movie. And you can tell because this is not written by Chris Morgan. At least with Chris Morgan, he's able to take the ridiculousness and the tone of seriousness and keep it at a reasonable scenario, as I'm trying to say, reasonable scenario. And I feel like with some cutting, you could easily cut this down to 2 hours even, and you wouldn't miss a thing. You can still have them going out doing the mission. You can still have Dom trying to fight his brother. And the moment where the action does get ridiculous is when they go into space. This is why you don't listen to people on the internet. People on the internet, they were only joking about this. They didn't mean actually go to space, literally. And this is not a spoiler. This is basically just them. They go into space in the movie. Ted and Roman by the end of the movie. This ain't no spoiler. It's in the trailers. And it was just, I'm just sitting there scratching my head like, this is too much. This is too ridiculous. Now, the series has always been known for its ridiculousness. It's never been one of those Oscar bait terms, so I did get some enjoyment here, but it just feels like they are just listening to the fans, a producer or somebody, to come in and say, what are you doing? We're not doing that. One of the executive producers should be like, we're not going into space, guys. We're not going into space. Why is it I see most of these other franchises like Star Wars or DC or Marvel or Harry Potter or Star Trek, and there's always somebody telling them that has to be changed, this has to be changed, you can't do that, that's too much. But with this movie, they just let the creators of this series do whatever the heck they wanted. Also, the tone of this movie is a mess. It doesn't know if it wants to be serious or if it wants to be dumb. Fast and Furious fans will enjoy the seriousness. Fast and Furious fans will enjoy the over-the-topness. And most Fast and Furious fans will either get sick of both. I'm kind of in the category where I'm enjoying it, but I'm also getting a little sick of it. A little bit. And I feel like they should either just went for the family route with Dom and such, or they should just went completely over the top. Because when you try to do two different things, it doesn't quite come off as well. My big negative with this movie, and you do not put Cardi B in a freaking Fast and Furious movie. You could easily cut this character out. She does nothing. She's just there as a character to be from Dom's past. She doesn't really do anything. She's just only in this movie because the fans recognize her. Hey, this Cardi B. Well, I like that rapper. I said this before, I will say it again until I get it out of my system. Cardi B, she might be beautiful, she might be a semi-decent rapper, but she's not a very good actress. You're not very good at the acting. So, she was completely unnecessary in this movie. You could easily remove her and the movie would have been just fine. Now with all that out of the way, it may sound like I'm hating on this movie. It may sound like I'm upset or pissed off with this movie. I'm not pissed off with this movie. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm just very in the middle with this. Because Fast 9, this is another entertaining at best entry into the Fast Saga, but this film has become overly... This is living proof that the series at this point has become overly cartoonish at points. It tries way too hard to have a deep story, which you don't need for that. for its own good, to the point where you question what you should be caring for, and it does go on for way too long, and also it just gets to a point where it becomes a bit of a Saturday night cartoon at points. It does have the themes of family. The action is still fun. The cast is still entertaining. John Cena is a fun addition, even though I wish we had more of him. And it does keep the spirit of family. Unfortunately, I am going to have to be honest with myself and say that this is the more in the middle of the road films in the series. And this is one of the most frustrating entries into the Fast and Furious series. Not bad. It's not great. It's not awesome. It's just alright. Fast and Furious fans, they will enjoy this. But I can definitely see a lot of Fast and Furious fans in my comment section who will say this is too much. But I can watch this with the other ones. I can turn my brain off and just have a good time eating popcorn or nachos or Fritos or anything snack related and just enjoy this for what it is. But ultimately, I have to come to terms to say this is the first big disappointment of the Fast and Furious series, because this should have been, this could have easily been a lot better if this was Chris Morgan at the helms of writing. And hopefully, with the last two Fast and Furious movies, which they're going to be shooting back to back, hopefully they redeem themselves from how overly crazy it's gotten. And hopefully they do have Chris Morgan to balance out the ridiculousness and the dramatic aspects, because I feel like without Chris Morgan, the last two Fast and Furious movies were in deep trouble. I'm gonna give this movie, I'm gonna be fair, and I can say you can stream this thing, or you can wait to watch this on Netflix. So that was my in-depth review, spoiler-free, of Fast 9, F9 The Fast Saga. What did you think of Fast 9 in the comment section down below? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? What is your favorite Fast and Furious movie? What's your least favorite Fast and Furious movie? Do you think the Fast and Furious series has gone on for too long? Do you think the series has gone overly cartoonish? In the comment section, let's have a discussion about it. Let's not be assholes about it, because then I'm gonna have to delete the trolling comments from the YouTube trolls. All my social media links are in the description box down below to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified when videos like this are up. Stick around for a Fast and Furious ranking with Fast 9 as a tier ranking. Also, more videos are coming your way this weekend. I got my Pixar ranking, which is still in the middle of editing. My Wish Dragon review coming, Spirit Untamed. A lot more reviews coming. And with that being said, you guys keep it cool and join the Epictasticness.